start. I'm Gwen Robinson, past president of the Foreign Correspondents Club of Thailand and editor-at-large of Nikkei Asia. And you all know why we're here. It's International Migrants Day, but that's not the only reason we decided to do this discussion. We all felt similarly that it was time to try and make some sense of where the situation in Thailand is going in terms of the extraordinary increase in migrant flows into the country and how Thailand, both government and society in general, is dealing with it. And I think some of us were quite concerned about some of the negative sentiments being expressed increasingly, particularly amongst conservative political forces in Thailand, which is far milder than we see in some countries of the world, but is still, given that it's relatively out of character, is a concern that political forces are kind of exploiting the situations where Thailand is in a position where it has to do a lot more than some of the neighbouring countries to help, deal with the influx of people coming in across borders, notably Myanmar, and particularly since the military junta in Myanmar introduced conscription earlier this year, there's been a very significant increase in flows, particularly of youth, who are basically trying to, save their lives and not be forced to serve in the military and kill each other. So I think a lot of Thais are sympathetic, and interestingly, my good friend and colleague over there, Mark McDowell, who's with the Asia Foundation, was just telling me that they've just completed one of the first comprehensive surveys of Thai public opinion on immigration and the migrant inflows. They're going to release that early next year, but early results would indicate that broadly, interestingly, nearly a lot of Thais expressed sympathy with migrant dilemmas and plights and agreed that Thailand should help, but were very almost overwhelmingly opposed to any move to make them permanent. So as long as it's seen as temporary help, it seems that still a lot of Thais support assistance to migrants. There'll be a lot more detail in their survey. I think it'll be very interesting reading, and I think you should watch out for it, I think early next year, right, Mark? And also you might see in the media some coverage of these kind of opinions. And I hope our panellists, who I'm going to introduce in a minute, can also update on what the Thai government is actually doing on some of these issues. But just before that, because this is our panel of the day, I have to mention a couple of little things coming up, and also to let you know the club, for the first time in its history, has decided to stay open through the Christmas New Year period. So apart from, I think, a couple of days off, you can drop in and out, whether you're a member or not, over the holidays for lunch, drinks, whatever. And keep that in mind, because it's always a nice place to drop in and have a very good pizza or something. And the only other plug I'm going to do is, on a brighter note, Friday we have our quite very popular trivia quiz night, which runs once a month, and that'll be the last of the year, and I think it'll be quite fun. Anyone can come by themselves or with a small group and have a team, and it's really a very good time is had by all. I don't think there's any charge for that one, Friday night. So anything else, please check our website and Facebook page. So turning to the topic at hand, which is entitled Thailand's Dilemma, Migrants, Conflict and Regional Relations. I will introduce our excellent panel. We're very lucky to have these people who could take time out on International Migrants Day, despite the fact that there are a lot of things going on, yesterday, today, tomorrow, seminars, conferences. So we're very grateful to have your time. Starting on my far right is Kun Chawarat or Mick Chawarankun, who represents the Thailand Migration Reform Consortium, or TMR. And he and his team have championed the cause of migrants in Thailand, particularly on issues of detention and regulation for a long time. Next to him is Michiko Ito, who is with the International Organization on Migration, IOM, as Deputy Head of Operations Asia, with an extensive background in Myanmar, and also in her former guise working in the office of the UN Special Envoy in Myanmar. So we're very glad to have you here, Michiko. And really very lucky to have Tetsui Win, who's next to Michiko, representative of Myanmar migrant community, who spent the years since the February 2021 military coup in Myanmar helping fellow migrants in distress and supporting internally displaced people along the border of Thailand, Myanmar, and doing very many good things. And he's driven a long way to be here today and is turning around and driving back tonight. So thank you, Ted. And finally, last but very not least, is Ajahn Narumon Tabchumpon. She is a cross-border migration expert, assistant professor in politics and head of Centre for Excellence on Migration and Development at the Institute of Asian Studies, Chulalongkorn University. I think you're just being freed of that so that you can concentrate more on her brilliant field work. She does a lot of projects studying migrant movements, not just from Myanmar, but also on the northern border of Thailand and Cambodia. She's been at this a very long time and has done some brilliant work. So anyway, several of our panelists have slides. Hopefully they'll each speak about 10 minutes and we can have some discussion and questions. So we're going to kick off with Michiko. Over to you.
Thank you, Gwen, and good afternoon, colleagues. Happy International Migrants Day, as IOM says it. Today is a wonderful opportunity for us to sort of talk about migration first before getting into the core of the topic. And this is something that I feel quite strong about because there's a lot of discussion around migration. How can we stop migration? How can we reduce migration? But I think it's really good for us to have common understanding on what migration is all about. So let me start with this slide. So when we talk about migration, actually it's not only the human that migrate, right? So this is called great migration. And animals migrate, humans migrate. Why? Because we want survival, we want better life. So I would assume that this animal that's crossing the river may know that there's crocodile. But they still go every year, every single year they cross this river. And it's because otherwise they will die anyway. So we know that the birds also migrate, manta ray also migrate, and so we are, the humans. So as the scientists tell us, the humans started migrating out of African continent, according to this map, about 65,000 years ago. And at that time, no car, no airplane, we just all migrated by foot. And we went all the way up to the tip of Patagonia, or we went to the East Islands. We are also in Antarctica. This is migration. There's something that is driving us. And it's so part of our history that migration actually started before human civilization, or before agriculture, or before nation state and nation boundary. There is something that continues to drive us until now, and that drive is bigger than Mediterranean Sea, the Andaman Sea, the Sahel Desert, or the jungles that lays across Myanmar and Thailand. So whenever we talk about migration, and whenever people ask me, how do we stop migration? I'm like, we are not, like, trying to stop migration is almost like trying to stop rain, because rain is such a natural phenomenon, right? So we can forecast the weather pattern, we can predict what the impact of the rain is going to be, but we cannot stop the rain. Or we may be able to hold the rain for now, but then you get tired that the water like drips through your hands. This is what we say, whenever we talk about migration. I think we really cannot forget this phenomena, which is so natural, that's so part of us. So that's the kind of the introduction of how I wanted to start my presentation on the Day of the International Migrants. Okay, so I also like to highlight a little bit about Thailand's migration experience because it's never static. We know that Thais did not come out of the soil, right? Thais eventually come from somewhere over different waves of migration that occupied this part of the continent. We also know that a lot of successful Thais are former migrants, mainly from China. So migration is nothing new to China, to Thailand, and migration will never be nothing new to Thailand in future as well. Thailand was also a labor sending country. You may have come across some older generation Thais who migrated to Singapore or to Saudi Arabia, and they often talk very proudly about the experience building the skyscrapers of Singapore and having worked in Saudi Arabia and was sending money back to Thailand. So it's around 1990s that Thailand started to be a net labor labor receiving country, but before that they were sending countries. Even now, Thais migrate abroad for work. We have about 120,000 Thais working abroad as labor migrants every year. So that's the situation of Thailand. But Thailand is by now a very proud migrant receiving country. And I will give you the snapshot of what we call the stock, as in like the number of migrants in this country is going to be like. So according to IOM's latest data, and this is the data as of November 2024, we estimate that there are at least 5.4 million migrants and refugees in Thailand. I will give you a bit of a breakdown. So this part in blue, and that part in blue, and that part in blue, they are all here for employment, right? So this darker blue part, this is the people that we call regular or documented migrant workers. And when I say here, CLMV, these are the people from Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. I'm sorry the way the presentation is shown doesn't have the whole explanation, but 3 means 3 million. So this is according to the Department of Employment Statistics, that there are 3 million labor migrants from neighboring countries who either came with the passport, with the visa, what we call the labor deployment from those countries, which is about 25% of that blue part, or they came irregularly and then they went through this in-country registration and became documented.
Michiko, can I just interrupt and say also, if you're having trouble seeing that slide, on the 2 TV screens above here, the colors and the writing is much clearer.
Okay. And then we have this part, which is another part, big part in the chart. This is the IOM's estimate of the number of irregular, undocumented migrants in Thailand. Now, it's never easy to estimate the number of irregular migrants. There are a number of models based on available data, and we looked at different models that exist in the world and then try to apply in context of Thailand. And some people tell us that it's too small, but we stand for the data we do, and we actually have a methodology that's openly published in our website. So if anybody wants to question the data, then please do come and speak to us. But then this is what we use at the moment, which is at least 1.8 million undocumented. And then we have this part, which is the expat, like most of us here now, and falls under this category. And then this yellow one is another foreigners who don't engage in employment. This yellow part is the number of refugees. Officially, the number of refugees in the refugee camps are less than 90,000. So you can see that when we talk about migrants and refugees in this country, we are essentially talking about labor migrants. This is the large chunk of the migrant population in Thailand. And at the same time, we are talking about 70% of that chart, that pie, being from Myanmar. So there are 2 things that we can say. One is that when we talk about migration management, we are talking essentially about the management of the labor migrants. Second, when we talk about labor migrants, we are essentially talking about people from Myanmar. So Thailand, since they started becoming a net in-migration country, had this long journey of labor migration management. And about 20 years ago, the former Prime Minister Thaksin introduced a system which sort of tried to tackle the challenges in the sort of a longer term manner. So one was to regularize the undocumented migrants who are already in country through what they called nationality verification process. And then at the same time, Thailand tried to work with the sending countries to try to deploy workers with the passport and the visa. It worked to a certain extent in that by 2018, the percentage of the people who got officially deployed from the countries were about 35% of the total labor migrant population in the country. By now, it's about 20%. And the reason why is because of the crisis in Myanmar. Because as I said, the majority of the migrants are Myanmar, so if things don't go okay, then it has an impact on the stock of the migrant workers here. So because of declining number of the workers who get deployed officially, and at the same time growing number of the irregular migrants in the country, Thailand most recently announced the implementation of the in-country registration targeting undocumented migrant workers or the migrant workers whose documents are about to expire, and also the dependents or the children of the Myanmar migrant, of the migrant workers. So the process is starting as we speak. The registration of the undocumented migrant worker just started on the 16th of December, and it runs until the end of this month. And at the same time, the renewal of the documentation is going on until the end of February next year. Now, we know that there are a lot of inflows or the influx of the Myanmar nationals coming here, and the news is spreading among the communities. So now they are trying to get hold of the document that would do wonders for them. They don't get arrested on the street. They can travel within the country. Their ability to remain and survive in this country becomes much, much greater with the acquisition of the related labor cards and the work permits. Okay, now I just talked about the stock, and I also want to touch upon a little bit about the flow. So stock are the people who are already in this country. Flow are the people who are coming in. So this chart, this one, shows, okay, well, first of all, before explaining this, we collect the data of the flows of the Myanmar nationals coming into country by doing the monitoring at the various entry points. And this includes official entry points and also semi-official or unofficial entry points across the Thai-Myanmar border. And we do this sort of a monthly collection of the numbers of the entries. If you can look at the green bar, that's the number of the total entry. The orange one are the number of the entry who claim that they are coming just for the short term. And then blue are the ones who are coming for the longer term. And actually, this is the peak of 2024, and then it dropped significantly during the month of May and June. And this is essentially because the fighting had escalated so much along the Asia Highway between Pa'an and Myawaddy that the people who were heading towards Myawaddy got stranded in Pa'an. And you can see that the number started to pick up after May and June. And now we are seeing that the more and more people are entering, not through Mesot, but through Chiang and Ranong, because once people are stuck in once people are stuck in Pa'an, they had to figure out how else they could come into Thailand. And Mesot is no longer the major crossing point for the Myanmar nationals coming to Thailand, but then they are diverting by using easier routes. And this kind of reflects that how things can change even within 1 year. that the peak was observed because of the conscription law. That's kind of our assumption. And then the drop was because of the closure of AH1. And then people diverting to that direction, which kind of gives us sort of the confirmation that we have to keep monitoring the situation because the situation is so fluid. And if we rely on the data that exists from about a year ago, we may be actually targeting something that's quite different now. Okay, I also wanted to just highlight that despite the fact that the MOU meaning like the labor deployment system between Myanmar and Thailand is deeply impacted by the crisis currently, there are still people coming in through the MOU process that we have about 10,000 migrant workers still being officially deployed from Myanmar to Thailand every month. So this is the snapshot of what we call the flow. I will go through 4 dilemmas. I personally think that the Thailand's migration management is right now at a crossroads. And I will highlight 4 points. So as I said, the former Prime Minister Thaksin introduced this labor migration policy 20 years ago, and things have changed, but not fundamentally. The initial idea 20 years ago was that, okay, let's document the undocumented workers in the country, but then eventually replace them with the people who get officially deployed from those countries. So 20 years later, still 20% of the labor migrants are through the MOU, meaning that the system is not working. And looking at what's happening in Myanmar, we don't expect that formal deployment from country to succeed anytime soon. So what now? Can Thailand continue to implement what they do now, assuming that one day things are going to be okay, and having this occasional amnesty to regularize undocumented workers as they come into this country? I mean, it's a choice for Thailand, or they can come up with something else. The second question is, does a single approach to migrants from Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam work? Because right now, the policy that we have applies to everybody. So actually, encouraging people to come with the passport is highly encouraged in context of Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. And actually, the percentage of the migrant workers who are coming with the passport is increasing for those 3 countries. But what is dragging the whole system is Myanmar. Do we assume that Myanmar as a normal standard country and try to make Myanmar system fit with the rest of the countries, or would that be a time for Thai government to decide now that because of the situation that has radically changed, that they would come up with something that would suit the reality of the Myanmar migrant workers for now? The third question is this Thailand's democratic shift, which is now increasingly talked about among the Thai public and also in Thai media now. So the first time last year, the number of the population who had retired is more than the number of the new workers entering into the workforce. So we are now going to this period of aging society in Thailand. And according to UNDESA, the working age population in Thailand will decline from 71% in 2020 to 54% in 2060. This will leave, assuming that the size of the workforce remains static until 2060, we are talking about 14.4 million jobs unfilled. I just talked about the total migrant stock of about 5.4 million. We are talking about 14.4 million jobs that need to be filled by somebody, or that the number of the workforce shrinks. So Thailand is now at a crossroad also in terms of their population demographic shift. The fourth point is the visibility of the Myanmar migrants. And I always wonder, like now living in Bangkok, we see Myanmar migrants everywhere. I used to see Myanmar migrants in like little shops or like along the vendors on the streets, but now we have Myanmar migrants in like Central World, or when you go to like some of the like resorts full of Myanmar migrants. And I wonder, is it because Myanmar migrants had increased like in quantity, Or is it that the Thais kind of, are not working in those industry anymore, that employers had to bring those migrants in more visible working sector, so we are seeing more of them? I'm not really sure what's happening. But then the reality is that the migrants are there everywhere. And that will impact on Thai public's perception on Myanmar nationals. And we tend to make this very easy conclusion whenever something is done by migrant workers, then we tend to say, oh, the Burmese did it, or the Cambodians did it, even though if Thais do it, then we never say the Thais did it among the Thai population, no? So like the visibility, the fact that the Myanmar migrants are in deep of our communities, and that daily interaction and little things can also trigger reaction from the Thai population on the Myanmar migrants. But then at the same time, we know, and Kumik will discuss more in detail later, that this migration discussion or the migration discourse is being sort of entrenched increasingly into the domestic politics of Thailand, which is very concerning. Personally speaking, I do understand that the Thais are concerned about the continuing influx of Myanmar migrants. But at the same time, I'm more concerned about more than 5 million Myanmar nationals living, not more than 5 million, more than 4 million Myanmar nationals living in this country, living among us in different corners of Thai society, and suddenly Thai decides that they are the enemies, or they are the problems. And what do? Because then we have the tension that exists in our ordinary life every day. And to me, I think that's more of a national security threat than the new entrants coming into Thailand. And for that reason, I really feel that the Thais, it's really the right time for the Thais to be able to manage that the inflow versus the perception of the Thai government's ability to manage the influx. I just want to conclude by saying that, as I said, migration is like rain, and there's no formula to manage it, right? I don't think any country in the world doing like 100% on migration. So the only thing that Thais can do is to manage to predict what is to come and to be able to manage it. And it takes two to tango. So we cannot just think about the rights of the migrants, that we also have to make sure that the rights of the migrants are sufficiently ensured, but then at the same time, we also have to make sure that the host community, the Thais, understand the benefit and challenges, and also they have to be sufficiently happy the way the government managed this new challenge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michiko. That was excellent and very, very bleak figures. Working age population down from 74% to, wow. So we can see some of the concerns that are driving some of the Thai. So, Kunmik, as a Thai yourself and a big advocate of immigration reform, what's your take on all that and the figures? I think you've got slides as well, right? Here we go. So over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kun Kuen, and very nice. Good afternoon. Very nice to meet all of you. Just a bit of my organization, IDC, and Thailand Migration Reform. We are working on addressing migrant refugee issue, especially on the immigration detention or on the policy change in Thailand. But I've been working on migrants refugee context for about 20 years. I've been changed a lot of policies about addressing the issue of refugee children in Thailand. But after we have that policy, it still, didn't change the migrants and refugee life in Thailand. So I 2 years ago, I have learned about that the mindset model is the key of the transformative change. And so that's why I create the Thailand Migration Reform with my colleagues One way is to drive in terms of legislative change. At the same time, we are trying to bring the coordination and the change in public perception toward migrants and policy, migrant and refugee in Thailand. Michiko, you already showed the winter beast, so I don't have that kind of open speech. So I want to ask all of you, anyone in this room think that you are migrant? Raise your hand. If you are migrant, immigrants, migrants, refugees, raise your hand. Okay. Please clap your hand because this is your day. International Migration Day. Okay. Well, for us at TMR, we are trying to say that Thai people also migrants because we all came from different, places around this region, but suddenly formed as the Thai nation. So we are migrants. In the past several months, we observe a growing of misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech, both online and offline in Thailand. It's targeting migrants, refugees, especially people from Myanmar. And as a person who study how change happen, this backlash undermine the movement in terms of creating change in terms of migration governance in Thailand. And therefore, this is a very important issue to look at them very closely to see how we can handle this situation. Although Thailand is the hub of migrant and refugee in the region, there are very little knowledge about how Thai people think about migrants and refugees. Until recent year that NGOs in Thailand as well as UN agency have more interest in terms of understanding this public perception issue. And these are the three research that I found that trying to understand Thai public perception toward migrants and refugees. The first one is from ILO and UN Women. It's talking about migrant workers. The second one is my organization IDC and Sidekick that we work together to understand area of forced migrations. That's in 2023. And the last one just recently issued, right, Michiko, is from IOM, which conduct the assessment in terms of public perception toward migrants in Thailand. So these three studies has also, even though their methodologies and their samples are different, but there are quite similar findings. We found that impact of the proximity and interaction is critical. The more proximity between migrants and local people, the more positive public perception can be seen, in that area. Or the variation in the attitudes that rely on the geographic location, demographics, socio-economic status, and the professional context also matter. Some of the example for the Thai context. People in the urban area have less care about migrants, even though a lot of them are middle class higher, but they always thinking about their life because it's very difficult for their life to struggle in the urban setting. In contrast, people in the rural area, local area like Mae Sot, Chiang Mai are more accept, or even Phuket are more acceptant to migrants. We also found that people who've been struggle in their life have more empathy to migrants because they feel that the same thing of inequality in their life. They like to hear about how people overcome their challenge and success, and that what something we have found. But all of these three research also found that it is trends to decline of in the positive attitude and the increase of the polarization in the view toward migrants as well. Sorry. Speaking about the concern right now about public perception, these are concerning online contents that we have found. Fake news, misinformation, disinformation, hate speech. We also found like racist message toward migrants, refugees, especially from Myanmar, Cambodia. We also found discrimination message. Xenophobia also happened, especially from the migrants, undocumented migrants, especially those who in detention or in some setting that being managed by the government, and the use of the ultra-nationalist and ultra-conservative groups also. We also concerned about the information operation, or in Thai we call I/O. This has been popular in the past few years from the military operation that trying to deframe or delegitimate human rights activists, influencers who are supporting the change in Thailand, not only in migration issue, but southern Thailand border issue or some democracy issues, also being attacked by the information operations. It worked by a network of ultra-conservative or sometimes government-led operation, medias and page. They organize network of fake accounts, and then they pass through some proof message that create hate to each other, to their target, and stirring this sentiment among conservative people and beyond. So these are the example of ultra-conservative media, political groups or their networks that are working. What we are trying to see now, they are working as a network that trying to create hate toward migrants, refugees in Thailand. The top one, the blue box, is the Thai conservative media. We have Top News, we have Sonti Talks, we have the State Time, which is the social media. They post in Facebook. The other name Aya Ilavadi. She trying to bring the Thai policy and mix it up and speak about how the Thai government worthily manage the migration, the migrants and refugees, and taking the resource, etc. The Truth and the Thai Move Institute. These are the key Thai media or social media that stirring this sentiment. The second group in the yellow box, this one are the networks. So it's the small social media pages that trying to take all this message and stir within their system. Sometimes they mobilize by fake accounts as well, but get into the organic account. We have the critics, Tour Long, uh, the inside look Myanmar and late this day is the Mampodam. The last one, the last box is quite concerned because it's the political groups that not only work online, but they also work offline. We have Ashiwa Rachapakdi, which is the guy who wear the sunglasses, who is the lead of that group, and trying to claim the loyal, the king, loyalty by attacking migrants. The center of the protector of the institution, also, the loyalist groups, as well as Amazing World Culture Club. So they operate in the social media, but at the same time, they work outside as well. So you might see the phenomenon that they went to protest in front of Myanmar embassy about undocumented Myanmar migrants. You might see them, approach to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Interior, Loyal Thai Police, or the Ministry of Labor, trying to push or pressure the Thai government to reduce the benefit or push back migrants from Thailand with a very aggressive approach to the migrants. So from these few months, these are something that we found as well. There are the common themes. The historic conflict is the clear one that they always claim that Thailand used to lose Myanmar and lose Ayutthaya or in the past. And now Myanmar is trying to take over Thailand again, so they use this theme. Defaming as the enemy of the state, promoting nationalism, sometimes false accusation of crime. This one is interesting because they use some photo, or sometimes we have a flood in the northern and in the southern in the past few months, right? And then there are someone riding the jet ski, taking their stuff out from the home, and then they take the photo and say, "This is migrant trying to steal stuff from things from Thai people," which is something have no evidence at all except that photo. But that information is stirred around social media and become very crazy attack later on. Citizenship related misinformation. Myanmar children born in Thailand can get Thai citizenship, or if you bring children to get the medical care in Thailand, register in the Thai medical system, then you can get the citizenship. Or Thailand withdraw the Article 22 of the UN Convention on the Right of Children, on the refugee and asylum seeker children protection. They can get the citizenship, because this is all the misinformation that they are trying to create, throughout the social media, threatening of the economy by taking jobs and resource. This is very interesting because when I talking about the public perception that people in rural area really have more tend to positive perception toward migrant because they feel struggle. But once they hear about taking away their resource, then they change their mind. A lot of people that hear about this change their mind and fight against migrant. The last one is they also attacking NGO or politicians working in the field as well. Some of my colleagues are being attacked. Our social media, some of NGO social media being attacked by these groups. And when we click all this, sometimes they click hate to us, sometimes they put the hate speech in our comment box. When we click to their account, it's not a real people. is the fake account. It's run by operation. Sometimes they post here, and they post the other our partner NGO web page as well in the same message, but use different account picture. So that's why how we found is the information operation system that trying to, you know, attacking us. Well, but we need to know that this is not the first time. Migrant in Thailand has been framed as the enemy of the state or as the scapegoat many times. Some example is during the red and yellow shirt protests and polarization in terms of politics that time. The red shirt also were being defamed that some of the groups pay migrants to join the protests, and so that's why so many people have joined the protests. Or during the COVID-19, when the migrants or refugee also being claimed as the scapegoat by bringing a disease or sometimes, you know, taking the stock of the disease. But at that time, there are some group of NGO that are trying to work in terms of releasing some peace statement that can reduce the pushback. For example, during the COVID-19, some peace statement has been released that, you know, like during this crisis, if no one can be safe if everyone get back vaccine, something like that. But this year in 2024 is more concern. It's come from everywhere, and there are key factors that, you know, driving this hate speech and backlash. First one is the conflict in the neighboring country in Myanmar, in Cambodia. The different groups of migrant and refugees. In the past, migrant workers usually come to, you know, the low skilled job labor, but these days we see a lot of middle class migrant refugee, the elite class of migrants that come to Thailand as well, and that have the factor because they talk, they have different lifestyle, they interact with the Thai people in different ways. It's just really messy, and a lot of them are educated as well, so they try to find a way to work into the Thai system too. And sometimes because Thai system do not, you know, applicable for them, so sometimes they can see as, you know, people in the part that support the corruption system. The number of migrant and refugee also matter. In the past, we might have less number of migrant and refugee, but after the coup, the number has been increased. As Michiko mentioned about the number of migrants, nowadays we feel we have migrants everywhere. It's about 10% of the Thai population, less than 10%, but like 8 to 10% of the Thai population. So let's say like 10 people, there will be one migrant in Thailand that you can see. So, you know, it's like everywhere now. Therefore, people feel like they feel that there are someone else getting closer to them. Policy development also the matter. You can see it in two ways. One way, there are some of the positive development in terms of policy, and that trigger the conservative and ultra conservative groups trying to, you know, push back. But at the same time, the development is too slow in terms of comprehensive system that, you know, enhance all migrants in Thailand. As a result, it's keep under the carpet too long, and it push a lot of people become irregular or undocumented, and as a result, they become, you know, someone that Thai people feel like this is against the law, and that's kind of thing. Politics, elections also can increase the use of hate speech, misinformation, disinformation. And the last one, which is quite critical, because in these two periods of time, the use of social media is not so much like this time, that they use very widely everywhere at all the levels. Some of the recommendation that I put in place here, I trying to bring the three research to see how we can improve this situation, and I think the three research speak in the same direction, that we need to do something in terms of have a short term and long term to improve this situation. Monitoring social media and trends and connection is a critical work that we have to do. Rapid response in terms of fact checking, and the public awareness drive and peace message also important. Unfortunately, all of this work, not so much people doing it this day. Only few of NGO and UN agency are doing this. We talk with the government. I think the government most of the time, right now, they just do monitor, but they don't want to get involved to get the backlash too. So in terms of rapid response, in terms of fact checking or deliver the peace speech, we don't see so much on this. It would be better if the government, take more action in terms of clarify the fact, don't make, this misinformation go spread too wide and then cannot control. In terms of the medium or long term, what I propose, which is already in these three research that propose, is the three things. What we call is the 3 E's, exposure, experience, and education. These 3 key E matter because it can help shape the public opinion toward migrants, refugees. It can stress the importance of political will and investment to foster positive perception. The other thing that can be helpful is the P2P approach. The community engagement and public to the people-to-people platform are necessary to combat the xenophobia, hate speech, and promote the human migration governance. So that's what I want to share today, and I happy to answer the question.
Thanks very much, Nick. That was not only insightful, it was very brave. You've absolutely pinned it on some of the causes behind some of the, negative developments we're seeing. But it did bring to mind, both Michiko and I were in an IOM event yesterday with young Thai journalists and media, as well as Myanmar, who've been working on articles and videos about migration in Thailand. Really interesting and very informative and quite touching. But one of them said that they were, the way they're taught in schools about Ayutthaya and to fear and dislike Burmese, and then children are actually, one young person was saying he was brought up with elders warning him, be careful of Burmese, they'll attack you. So, you can see some of the mindsets, but since we're turning to our one authentically Burmese speaker, you might also tell us, Tet, if what are Burmese taught at school about the Thais? I mean, what did you think about the Thais when you were growing up, and has your experience here changed that, or?
Yeah, we actually used to have the anti-Thai sentiment that taught in the school back in 1998 to 2000. Around we used to have a tension in the border by the time. for the time like the military government, by the time they enforce mostly in the schools, like teaching all the bad things about Thailand, about the Ayodhya Burmese war and all the things like, for they impose this like kind of hatred towards Thailand.
But you mean fear or?
Not fear, like they impose like mostly like to hate each other. Like I mean, it wasn't long. It was only about 1 or 2 years that they taught in the school around year 2000. Then they stopped. Then after that, they started building a relationship with Thailand, and it gets. But nowadays we don't get any bad teaching about Thailand in the schools that I understood. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. I think also the survey findings I mentioned at the beginning shows that actually there has been a shift, and a lot of Thais are very sympathetic to what they're reading and seeing about what's going on in Myanmar, and young people fleeing, leaving their universities and trying to make a life here. So maybe there's hope there. But anyway, over to you and how you see some of these issues that we're talking about today.
Okay. Thank you, Gwen. And good afternoon, everyone. Sawadee Krap. And I'm actually trying to speak Thai, but I've been living here for 4 years, but I still cannot speak a proper Thai though. My name is Taswi Win, and I'm a political activist, and also taking refuge in Thailand for 4 years. I arrived Thailand since late 2021. Before I crossed to the border, I stayed about 8 months in the jungle. I had to run away when the coup happened. The military raided my house, they raided my office, they destroyed all of my office property. So I have an office back in Burma that I'm an activist, and I have my civil society organization, specifically working on the social harmony and social cohesion works in between Rohingya and Burmese people and ethnic people, Burma ethnic and non-Burma ethnic people, all these works that I've been working on. And then I'm quite familiar with the fact that this gentleman just show how the government and military use social media to distort the situation and to increase the hatred and fear among the society. So I'm quite familiar with it. I've been countering them as well. I've been targeted by those nationalist groups back in Burma, and also by the military as well. So when the coup happened, they tried to arrest me, and I had to run away. I stayed almost 8 months in the jungle. Then I didn't know what to do. I was thinking if I should move to the US, or should I just stay in the jungle, or should I move to Thailand to continue my revolution over there? So I decided to move to the border, late 2021, to continue my revolution, because I felt leaving the country in such situation was selfish for me. That I felt I dedicated my whole life to improve the human rights situation in Burma, to work for the minority people over there. But once this thing happened, then if I ran away of it, then it is not fair for me. It is not fair for the people that I work with. I dedicated to. So I decided to stay back there, and then the first thing after arriving to Thai soil, the first thing I cherished is that I became illegal. The first thing I got restricted is restriction of movement. I cannot get out of my hideout in that border town. I got warned by the people that if you move out, if you get out of your house, you can be arrested. Be aware of the police everywhere. They are at every corner of the street. That you can be arrested, that you can be deported, or you can be detained at the detention center, like IDC, or maybe at the police station, or sometime ended up imprisonment in the jail. So this is the first fear that I got, insecurity, and also my freedom of movement started limited, and I got to struggle a lot like to legalize myself to be able to live in Thailand. And then after that, I started to explore how can I help my fellow Burmese people like me who just crossed border, and what are the ways to support them, and then how can we legalize them. So like living in Thailand as a, like, you know, arriving as an undocumented person here is not easy, not very easy for us, that we face a lot of challenges. And people are like, but, you know, I do thank to the Thai people over there. Like they are very helpful to us. They are very sympathetic to us. That they know the situation. Like, for example, a few months ago, we got a fighting in the other side, like the biggest fighting, the very recent ones, that our revolution forces won one big camp of the FCC over there. That we can hear all the explosion in the Thai side, like all the explosion, fighting, gunshots. So like they also feel the same like us. They felt the insecurity, like if these mortar shell were dropped to us, or like if one of the bullets were fly over to the house. It happened before. So like they also felt the same like. So we became, because of, you know, living under the same circumstance, that we became united. And also these Thai people along the border, they are sympathetic to us, and they help us a lot. So I do thanks to the Thai people for helping us. Without their help to us, we'll not be able to survive in the border. That is very great help for the whole Burmese community in the border, I would say. And yeah, but for the authority, if they like, you know, we have to find ways around how to deal with authorities. But like the situation, like even though we have a lot of, you know, challenges, like, you know, living in Thailand, but, you know, many of the young people have still decided to move into Thailand because it is still safer than living in Burma. Like, I just met one of my friends from Yangon here just a few hours ago. They arrived from Yangon to Bangkok yesterday. They ran away from the conscription. So my friend is just like 40 years old, and her son, she brought her son 18 years old with her together, because they were almost get conscripted, the boy. So she had to bring her son to the safe place here. So they flew out here, but apparently they have no intention to go back, for sure. So how will they ended up? So they have to find a way to live in Thailand. So only two ways, whether they overstay or trying to find a legal way to register them here. So many of the young people are trying to get out of the country every day, every second, I would say. Because also, like, you know, yesterday morning, I got a message from one CDM head teacher of a school and her son, who are trying to move to Mesa, to the border from the border crossing way. Then I was like suggesting them, like, you know, how to get to the other side, in Myawaddy, and then, like, you know, helping them, you know, all the trips over. And suddenly I got a message yesterday morning saying that while they are coming to Yangon from Mandalay, on the way, there were some several checkpoints by the military that only looking for the young people to conscript. So they felt like they had to return back to the place where they came from. They felt like they want to hide until the situation is stable. So it just like within 2 days that I met, you know, like, you know, two different people with two different, you know, two different ways of moving out of the country. So there must be many other more as well that are trying to leave this country, because living inside Burma is like kind of living in hell. So everyone wants to run away from it. And then the only, the best way and easiest way for them to, and also the most possible and like kind of the safer place for them to move out is Thailand. So they will come like in any possible ways. So the number of the influx will be higher day by day for sure. And but also like in terms of the migrations, we have to like how can I say classify like different types of migrants. Before the coup, we got like mostly migrants from the ethnic groups and from the refugee camps, like mostly like from the ethnic area, and some are also like economic migrants that only came out here for the labor jobs and etc. So as Michiko said, that she met most of the Burmese in the street vendors and construction workers before, but after the coup, I would say about 3 waves of influx already happened. The first influx of the wave is the people who involved in the revolution. So, like me and my friends, we had to run away. We got no choice. If we stay in the country, we can be arrested or we can be killed. So we had to run away. So the CDMers and activists and the people who are involved in the revolutions and their families are the first wave. And then the second wave is like the young people who ran away from the conscription starting from earlier this year. And along with that, the third wave is like the business people and also like some professionals, like middle class and upper middle class people. Also, they sold everything inside the country and ran out and then trying to buy properties in Thailand. That's why the number of the condominium buying in Thailand is getting higher, and then Myanmar are like one of the tops in the chart of the condominium buyers in Thailand. So like this kind of people are running out. So among many of these people, as I said, we got many professionals like move out to Thailand. Like even in Mae Sot alone, we got about 45 university professors and teachers, university teachers, living undocumented in Mae Sot. So all of their knowledge and capacity are wasted. And some of the people, they have to do like general work to survive. We got teachers there, we got engineers there, we got all level of professionals living in the border town by doing nothing. So like, I'm always saying that to Thailand, saying that to make use of the Burmese people, like we are not just coming out here just to do a forced workers here, like forced labor job, just to do like kind of hard labor jobs, but also the other opportunity for them should also be there. But right now the system only allows those undocumented people to work. It's just like kind of pay cut and that the basic labor works that they can get, but which is really quite irrelevant for them to get a job here. So, and also like Burmese people who came out here, they started doing their businesses. Many Burmese businesses just appeared everywhere. So this is also in a way contributing to the Thai economies. And also this kind of businesses can be kind of a focal point to connect with Burmese and Thai communities as well. We can do a lot of exchange together. We can do a lot of business opportunities together. Like, of course we have a quite, challenging situation back in Burma. So it is also at the same time an opportunity for the everything, including business. So if we can, try to understand each other more, or if we can try to collaborate more, to the betterment of both societies, that will be mutually beneficial for both sides. And right now, like Karen and Karenni area, mostly the ethnic groups are occupying, and then they are trying to set up their own administrations over there. So this is the opportunity for Thailand to start trading and also other, interactions with these people over there. And also, like when we talk about the influx mitigation, all of the mitigation measures we say can only be the short-term mitigations, and it cannot be the absolute problem-solving mechanism, because there will be more and more people coming out since the Burmese military is oppressing people inside. So we still have about 50 million of people left in the country. So if the war is keep going on, and if people got more conscription, then they have nowhere to go. So most of the people who came out of Thailand are we came here because we have no choice. If we live in the country, we can be arrested or we can be conscripted to the military and go fight with our fellow revolutionary people. Maybe we will die in the battlefield. Or maybe, if you are arrested, if they, fight the military back, or if you are an activist, or if they do something wrong that they don't like, you can be arrested or you can be tortured to death. So what are we going to do? We have to run away. We have to move out of it. So if Thailand and ASEAN wants to, mitigate that situation, so not only to, Thailand doesn't just not need to, alone doesn't need to do the policy. Of course, Thailand is affected because of that influence. But not only to manage the migrant workers or the migrant situation in Thailand, but also to stop all the oppressions in Burma side. Make Burma livable country again, to wipe out of this Burmese military, back, force that situation back to the normal, that no one would leave the country. So that is one very important thing for all of us to do. And I'd just like to share two more things. One is about this ultra, how can I say, I actually used to say ultra-nationalist group, but when I say this word in Thailand, that I'm not sure if this is right wording for me to use or not. That the conservative group here, that I can fully relate to it. That we used to have this xenophobic movement and ultra-nationalist movements against Rohingya people, and the movements that campaigns against the other religions, and non-Buddhist religions and non-Burma ethnic groups were kind of being othered by the ultra-nationalist group back in Burma. So I can fully relate to it, and also, we have to understand, the fear of them as well, because all of the resentment stems from the fear. I can, Thailand, they just suffered a lot during the COVID-19 period. Then after the COVID-19, Thailand is just about to get up again, all the economy and the whole society. Then suddenly, the big influx of Burmese migrants just came in here. So this is kind of something to shock the society that we can understand. But what we have to do is that this is not just only to one side, but also the Burmese side as well. All of these migrants, we don't have a proper understanding of the Thai culture. And Thailand, in terms of the living standard, Thailand is way ahead of the Burmese people. And also our Burmese people, we were in all the hardship. Right now it's 4 years under the military coup. Before COVID-19 pandemic, all of the young people, they got a lot of pressures, and they got mental problems as well. So when they move out to Thailand, that this is the very first time for them. For example, for the 18 years old boy or the youth, since 14 or 13 years of their age, they started having all of these problems, like COVID-19 and the military regime. So, when they get to Thailand, this is the very first time of them to embrace freedom again. So they don't know how to control it, and then they are overusing of freedom that they get. So it could also be like, something negative to the Thai society. And also, we have some different, like cultural differences. We speak out loud, we throw leaders everywhere, we spit everywhere, including me sometimes. And like we smoke everywhere. Like this kind of things that, so we have to educate our people. Like, like we have about minimum at least 5 million of Burmese people. Like we have to focus to educate our people how to behave well, how to become a good guest in Thailand. But I'm pretty sure that, if our revolution win back in Burma, we will not. Oh, sorry. So if our revolution win in Burma, if we win today, majority of the people living in Thailand will be going back to Burma for sure. So, but while we are living here, while we are taking refuge here, we have to behave well to Thailand, and also we have to find way how we can contribute back to the Thai society. This is very important. Like, without the help of the Thai people here, without their acceptance of us here, we'll not be living here. Like, this is, I deeply feel, what I deeply feel, why for the whole 4 years that I've lived in Thailand. So I'm always like trying to find ways to, how to improve the cohesion among these societies and how to contribute, because we have people, like this new migration of people, we have like knowledge, we have somehow money, and we have somehow networks and manpower. So we want all of our assets to make use while we are here, mutually beneficial. And also to the Thai friends, that I always think that, just to teach us, please don't see us enemy. We are your friends in need, who are in need, who really need your help. Just, if it's not just for us, this is also like, mutual benefit, and also for the whole Southeast Asia region. If we can, I don't think much about the governmental level, but what I'm feeling is like people to people, which actually last longer than government. Government changed, but people are interacting forever. So we have to build the people to people understanding and mutual understanding and cooperation. That would be mutually beneficial. And like this kind of, the informational stuff, like, so we can, cooperate for it as well. And last but not least, I'd just like to share about one success story of a Burmese migrant who is a violinist working right now. Like, he was a violinist, an artist that, who joined the revolution, and then after that he had to run away from the military. So he arrived to Method with his family. He only got a violin in his hand. Then he started meeting people, like showing his violin skill everywhere. He just don't care, like, what kind of crowd. He just go and like, entertain people with his violin. But he is like one of the top level of the violinists in my country. But he didn't mind about it, that, meeting everywhere and like, showing his violin skills and like trying to teach violin to everyone. And later, he got connected with the organization called Joint House, that my friend Jeannie here, that she founded the organization called Joint House in Method to work with the migrant community over there. Then he started giving a free class to the children. Then I would say Method is not an art town like Pai or Chiang Mai, it is just kind of a border business town. But, among this influx of the migrant community, many artists came in. So they do a lot of like art activities together, and they started teaching at Joint House about all this, the skills that they have. And then I would say like majority of the kids in town are now learning music from all the artists from Burma. And also, they started teaching at the Thai school as well, not only to the Burmese migrant community, but also to the Thai schools. That why the Thai teachers see that they are also, the migrant schools are studying this kind of music and training. They also want to do it. Then they invited Joy House and all these artists together to do such training in the Thai for the Thai students. Right now, if I'm not wrong, about 4 Thai schools are inviting all these Burmese artists to teach music to the Thai students. And that artist alone, his name is Paul Fan, my friend, then he got a scholarship from one of the top American university, and he did not go to the US. That instead of going there, he joined with the Chiang Mai University with RCFD and studying his own program, that he got a stipend or kind of a support from the school to start his own project with the migrant community. So he's just growing like this right in front of my eyes, within 4 years. He just came with his one violin, but he never gave up. He tried to find opportunities to contribute to the society. And right now he is teaching hundreds of students, not only in Mae Sot, also in Mae Hong Son, along the other town as well. So there are also many other Burmese professionals trying to contribute to the Thai society, and also we are willing to integrate with the society and contribute all of our efforts to be able to just live in peacefully in Thailand until we are able to go back to our country. That's all. Thank you.
Very much. Thanks, Ted, for such a great, heartfelt talk. And you're quite right. I think if peace breaks out and the revolution wins, I think Thailand is in for a nasty shock, because if there are 4 million Burmese doing all the dirty work, construction, washing up, garbage collection, if they all leave, I think Thailand will be really missing them. So that's something to watch. And also, I'm very glad you brought up Joy House. Jeannie here, a long-time member and supporter, has set this thing up. And if anyone is interested in helping out, Joy House now has a very active website and Facebook presence with a lot of free classes, not just music, art, dancing, language, martial arts, all sorts of things. Anyway, a very, very deserving project, and if people are interested and go to Mae Sot, I think they're happy to show you around. Anyway, we've extended this by half an hour because we started late, and turning last but very not least to Ajahn Naramon, who, as I said, has been working on all these issues for a long time. Ajahn, over to you.
Yes.
Is the microphone working?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will be brief because it's late now. I have only 7 slides, so I will try to finish it within 10 minutes. And then the question about Thailand policy. There have many people already asked the question. It's not in the slide, but I'm happy to answer. Have a chance to talk to the Ministry of Labor this morning. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so basically this is the PowerPoint. Let me try. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. I cannot move. Okay. So basically, I think everyone know this is a research project that the ASEAN Research Center of Migration working with the very interesting Ministry of Higher Education of Thailand. We get funding from the university. They asked us to do the research, saying that Ajahn, don't be too political. Just talk about border city. So we come out, we talk to them that, okay, we are interested to look at Mae Sot. And can we use the concept of a whole society approach instead of what you call infrastructure development? This is normal for Thailand project. So for us, we start with the idea that if we talk about Thailand policy as growing together, why don't we looking at our neighbor sister or our country that's as a brother sister country. So we start with the idea. So this is some kind like a finding that we get, and it's still on process. So basically, the reason that we select, actually they have, this project is come along other border city of Thailand too. The Ministry of Higher Education support other borders such as between Thailand and Laos, Thailand and Cambodia, Thailand and Malaysia. So we select Thailand, Myanmar. And we select Mae Sot and Mueang Prajop Khiri Khan and Ranong. So let's talk about Mae Sot. So we see the situation in Myanmar. And I think we don't need to talk again. Many people already know the left picture is the fighting, is the war zone. If you look at closely, you will see the name of the armed organization. You will see that which organization capture in which country in Myanmar. So basically we can see the escalation conflict that changed into the war zone and also the armed conflict. So I would like to support the presentation or the talk of our previous speaker, that the reason of the influx is coming because of the situation in Myanmar. I think those are the research that we do. In fact, we do it even before the coup, before the COVID. So at that time, the situation was different. At that time, the study is that how migrant workers plan to go back to Myanmar, how they would like to buy the land, how the issue of the voluntary repatriation working. But then with the COVID and the coup, everything situation is changed. So we see more situation that is changing. Basically, the one that we see is that, and Thailand also in what you call in the dilemma, because Thailand is among the top investor in Myanmar up until now, even before the coup and especially after the coup. Right now, with the, for instance, PTTEP is already the main stakeholder for the Yadana gas pipeline, because when the Unocal and Total pull out, so basically PTTEP already the top investor and Thailand Energy. A lot of electricity that we're using right now is come from that gas. So Thailand is also not dilemma in a sense that we are not only depend upon Myanmar migrant worker, which is many people already say is around 4 million and 1.5 million are undocumented. So basically this is a situation. And in terms of energy policy, why Thailand really need to be very quiet when we talk about the Takmandor and SAC, because whenever the government say anything, they will say, okay, then we don't put in the situation like when Europe face Russia and Thailand not in the power to negotiate. So basically, Thailand is in dilemma. One way is dealing with the migrant worker that really depend upon the Myanmar migrant worker. On the other hand, is under energy policy that really depend upon gas from Myanmar. And apart from that, they are also part with the top investor. So basically, this kind of the political economy that make Thailand, you will see on the downside picture. That's why they only address on the what you call temporary, immediate temporary solution. Never talk about permanent or final solution. Never try to talk about preventive solution. I think if you ask any Thai government, including the so-called elected government right now, they intend to saying that, okay, we will do humanitarian, we talk about humanitarian corridor, we will support, we will do this and that. And I think this is a kind of the situation that we found out in the research. And under the research is also very interesting. We come out on the right picture. This is the framework that we talk with the National Security Council, very interesting. Talk to them. So it's not only civil society that we have a chance to talk. We try to talk to the government officer and also our security sector. So for them, I think one way that we need to, really, maybe for me, I also have the situation that try to understand them, because we try to saying that, okay, let's do stakeholder analysis approach. if we talk about the whole society approach, so it means we try to bring in our stakeholder engagement. We already start focus group as a closed door with those who are from the government sector of Thailand, with the Myanmar migrant worker, with the IDP, with the armed organization, and also media and other. One thing, this is also very interesting, is that those who are at the front line and at the ground, such as in Method, quite do understand the situation. The hate speech, very interesting, is inner city, not at the border, such as Prathum Thani, Nonthaburi, not Mahachai, interesting, Surat Thani or something like that. So in that case, the issue of hate speech that many people discuss now is in inner city, not at the border. And even the local authority, those local government sector or local security, they do quite understand the situation at the front line. So you will see sometimes they just tell us saying that, Ajahn, you don't need to talk to us about the whole society approach. Why you don't go back to talk to those who have an office next to your university? That do they really understand the idea of whole society approach? Because we are at the border, we already know the situation. The only way that we can do is that we just close the eye and also try to work it out how to do that. So I think in this regard, the issue of the policy is some kind like a overlapping or dilemma. And I think this is a kind of the idea for the issue of the whole society. Sorry. This is the, I think I don't need to discuss more, but many people already know that. Right now, in terms of those who are inside Thailand with the situation in Myanmar, we have civilians who also come because of the increasing of the tax, because of the conscription law. They also come hope that with the short-term asylum and also going to the inner city. And because Thailand try to separate between voluntary migration and forced migration, which has never been true. Those who come, we cannot say that they are forced because of the fighting. They might come because of the collapse of economy, and they might come because they are afraid that they might be on the front line. This time when we talk about conscription law is also different in the past. In the past, we might heard about the porter, that the civilian of Myanmar might go and carry the gun and the bag, but they don't need to be on the front line. This time is different. Right now, at least according to the information from the Thai security sector, the Takmandal already lost their military post, I think around 40% now. So it means they need more manpower. And that even make people scared. And in that case, we have civilians who cross border, who never been trained, and come with two ways. One is less skill, going for the pink card and hope that you get a job, which is different for those who come before the coup, that you get less skill who send remittance, like those who go to South Korea, Saudi Arabia, or Taiwan like Thailand. They are really thinking about sending remittance. But this time the less skill might be those who already skilled, but come as a less skill because it's the only system allow them. Second one, they are real skilled worker, like professional, medical doctor, and other. The violinist or the CDM people is also come as a professional. So these come as a skilled worker, but they face the situation such as, even though you already trained in the, what you call medical university, but you have to go to the medical bar in Thailand, and you have to learn Thai and also other blah, blah, blah. And I think this is a problem. I think many people who study IOM also know that. We already talking about 2015 about mobility of skilled worker, and this is 2024. It's never come true. So basically, the skilled worker is still limiting in terms of the Thai regulation, not because of the Ministry of Labor, but because of the Medical Council and so many councils that's saying that you have to pass our exam, something like that, and you have to pass Thai language, something like that. And last one is youth and parent who just come after the announcement in February, not only on the conscription law, and I heard that right now the age of the soldier is extended from 35 to 45, and right now those who above 45 and still be like a reserve army. So in that case, we see youth and parents who would like to come, and I think this is a situation. So this is a picture of the influx on the left side. So this is a different kind that they come, and some come regularly. I mean, cross the border across the friendship bridge and get 14 days or 7 days, and then they get the border pass. The other one just come with natural crossing through a lot of the pier. And the third one, they might come during the conflict and also put in the, they call temporary safety area. And also you can see this is all type of crossing. But anyway, one issue is that with the new regulation, with the more and more unrest situation and lost military posts inside Myanmar, it's more and more people coming rather than, I mean, this is a situation. And number of cross-border, the number that we have on the right side is the arrival that we collect last year, and plus the displaced person that after the Thai government has been pushed from the, I mean, from the security sector, from the Bangkok, then they have to put them, so these people put, we call like a internal displaced person, but in fact they are not internal displaced person. They are the displaced person along the border. And this is a kind of number. And these people, you already see that 540,000 people at least along the border. So not only 5 million, with 1.5 million undocumented, we also have another 500,000 along the border that's also in the situation. Right now, what happened at the border or at the border city? So basically, when they come, they provide shelter and food. So you might see some organization, that the Burmese organization, the current organization, the local civil society Thai organization that provide. Another way is that they also doing to the local way, such as the Red Cross and other. But this kind of thing, you can see that they are considered only shelter and food and basic need, but not the welfare system. Those who would like to engage into income generation with the status or registration and welfare come out with the idea that can Thailand open amnesty again or open more registration, and this is the debate right now among the policy maker. They said that if we open, it's not going to be 1.5 million. It might be 2 million or even more with the situation in that neighboring country. So this is a kind of the debate. And that's why the hate speech coming. Those who come with the hate speech, I think there are two ways. One is that they are the conservative group who disagree with the government. So that's why you see the issue of Cambodia with the MOU 44. And now in the future, not maybe in a few months, you might heard about those who try to enter into Myanmar side, trying to say that we don't have the demarcation clearly, so let's do this, let's do that. So this is a kind of what you call political behind. But they also have another group who also really fear because of the situation of the welfare. And as Michiko already talked about aging society, and these aging people, they are the one who really scare most that their pension, their welfare might have to be shared, which is not true. I think in reality, the information is not true, but fear is a fear. And also, I think this is a situation of misinformation, and nobody don't know how to deal with this at the local, So this is a situation that they are facing. So basically, this is a housing that they are doing. So what the local try to do at the border, right now, for instance, Masot Hospital and the Matao Clinic and Faculty of Medicine of Chulalongkorn try to talk about let's do border health and let me do what you call online training. let's do this way, so at least you can train medical staff which is already been there and train that. But anyway, it have to be so-called non-political, just have to use the very beautiful diplomatic words, so everybody happy in saying that we do humanitarian way. So what kind of risk and challenge? My really last slide. Basically, they have the number. This is we do the survey with the local Thai, not the migrant. We ask the local who live at the border and ask for about the risk and challenge that affect for people well-being if they have more and more coming. They're saying that they have the increased number of drug exit, which is, I don't know whether it's true or not, but I think the situation might come because of the information that talking about the increasing of the war zone and the crossing time with the United States of War Army, which is in the Thai top priority as an issue of the narcotic issue. So this is a kind like a fear, maybe not on the ground, but many people already case. But the true one is that more case of TB, tuberculosis have now increasing. We already conduct the survey around 200 survey, and the number in the past, the issue of TB is really low, but now is increasing and more with the migrant community and the more traffic accident, because in order to go to work, the migrant also buy motorbike. They do not use a bicycle any longer, and with the Grab in Mysore, so you can see a lot of the issue. And also many people already talk about mental health. No, in the past, people talking about physical health such as the disease, but now I think with the issue and more number of the increasing of those who come. And these people, they are not the poor, they are not come in order to send remittance home. They come because they have an unrest situation in their home. They come because of the freedom from fear, because of the politics and because of the situation. So in that case, they have a lot of the issue of mental health. And this is come by the hospital staff themselves, who already saying that at Matao and at Mysore, we have to talk about mental health clinic now. And I think maybe it's also related to the trauma in the front line of the war zone. And last one, in the refugee camp, they also have more cases that also happen. So I think that's the situation. And last one, I feel it's hopeless, but I still have to talk about ASEAN. Even though Anwar appoint Thaksin and appoint so many ministers of foreign affairs, but I think ASEAN have to do that, because Thailand alone, we too scared to talk, to make Myanmar not happy. So we need some backup. So I think ASEAN might have to be more engaged. And for the local engagement, right now, with our research, we try to engage the government officer. We are not only send the protest letter and asking recommendation, because they never listen to our protest. So let's bring them in. So listen to them, at least they change. So they have some kind like changing. I mean, normally, for instance, after we talk to them a lot, they already agree. So by saying that, okay, we cannot do MOU only from our Thai side, but let's extend 1 year visa. So at least, so you will not surprise that why we have 8 times, I think 9 times of the cabinet resolution, and extend every 6 months, or every 1 year. And we joking saying that Thailand already extend investment like a free tax for board of investment with the BOI. Why don't we do with the people? So they agree that right now the extending visa with the MOU migrant worker will be extended 1 year. And now Cambodia already complained to us that we have one MOU to 4 countries. Why don't you allow 1 year extension only Myanmar? And I don't know how the Thai government will answer. For the skilled worker, like the student or researcher, is already extend 1 year visa. So right now, this is one side from Thailand to extend the 1 year visa. But I think that only temporary, like Thailand say. We do temporary solution, so it's only temporary solution. But in reality, I think in our panel today, we need to talk about more durable solution or more preventive or try more with the consultative solution. Thank you.
But Ajahn, do you think there's politics behind that, like sort of for the government to stress this is temporary in order not to alarm Thai citizens if you use the words permanent or durable? This is exactly the problem, right? Like you're scaring Thais that this is going to be permanent, you're going to have 5.4 million, you know.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's not only the government. I think it's also not Thai citizen. Actually, Thai security sector and Thai opposition. We have to admit, we get elected government, but we are under authoritarian state. So we try to dealing with this, and I think I don't believe that. I agree with my friend. I don't believe that Myanmar people who live in Thailand, they want to live here permanently. I think they would like to go back to rebuild their country. But I don't know. I try to encourage the Thai government that let's do more preventive. Let's talk about ceasefire. Let's do something like you do in Cambodia. Why don't you just sit and stand still? I don't know. I think.
Yeah. Look, so we've taken a lot of time. We've taken your time. Thank you. I'd like to really, so I thought they were all excellent and nobody overlapped. You all complemented each other and gave us, I think, a big range of. We've got time for one or two questions if anyone has a burning one. The microphone's up there. Is that someone going for the microphone? No, he's going for a loo break.
Any suggestion? Any talk?
I got excited. Any questions? I think in that case, there is one.
You can go to the microphone.
Yeah, could you go to the microphone, just say who you are and keep it tight. If you want to direct it to everyone, say so, or specific person.
So I'm Nin. I'm working for Liber Rights Foundation. Many thanks, the distinguished panelists. So I just want to, it's not a question, just want to add some points.
Could you keep that short, please?
Yes, sure. So today, you know, some of you might know white employers who are mostly medium and small business owners, Thai business owners, who met with the parliament and asked the government to streamline the process of the registration, extending the registration of undocumented migrant workers, and also renewing the MOU visa of the existing migrant workers. Because, you know, what I want to contribute is that some portion of Thai society knows the substantial contribution of migrant workers to economies, like white employers. They see the need of these migrant workers, and that's why I think I'm positive, even though there are some conservative elements, as Ajahn was saying, in Mahathai there is no hate speech, because they know the reality. If migrant workers go back, there will be a huge gap in the labor force. So just one thing I want to contribute. And also, the last thing I want to contribute is also, I fully agree with my colleagues, Burmese speakers. I'm the same experience as him, I myself. So anyway, so the solution that the Thai government and the ASEAN should look at is not the 5-point consensus, because obviously the problem, everyone knows who is the problem, the source of the problem, all these issues. Like for myself, if I, like my colleagues, if we win the revolution, I will go back. If today we win, I will go back, because I left my land over there, my plantation in Myanmar, and I had a peaceful life in Myanmar, but you know, I'm struggling here. Anyway, so but good. I also thanks my Thai, including Ajahn, Thai colleagues, Thai friends. They are very helpful for us. So anyway, what I would like to say, the source of the issue is who is the source of the problems. That's why, you know, 5-point consensus and the election, they are not working. So now the international mechanism that will take action against the perpetrator, the hunter, I think that will be the for the international failure of the international mechanism that
Right.
give the impunity to the perpetrator will stop, and I think it will help the perpetrator accountable and solve the issue. Like I'm referring
Thank
to
you.
like ICJ.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Good points. And I'd just like to say again, this video will be on our FCCT YouTube by Friday. I think a lot of good information and insights there. So thank you all. Happy Migrants Day. Spare a thought for all the people we've just talked about and their plight. And do keep an eye on the FCCT website and Facebook. Thank you.